everyone, so today's video is going to be my February wrap-up. Now this intro is not going to be very long because I need to film this very fast. So yeah, let's just get into all of the books that I read in February. So first I read volumes 1 and 2 of Heartstopper. Now I didn't really enjoy this a lot when I first read it. Like, I liked it, but I didn't fully enjoy it. But now that I've reread it, I can say that I do love it more. I gave both of these volumes 4 stars, I think, and I will be rereading this in the future. I will maybe also be buying the physical volumes, but they are quite expensive, so I don't know for sure if I am gonna buy them. But yeah, now that I have reread them, I do like them more. So yeah, let's just get into the next thing that I read. So next I read Gender Pioneers. This is a book that I got from NetGalley. I got an ARC from there, and I'm very glad that I got an ARC from this, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I would like it. It was just a bit different than I expected, especially considering that a trans person who was a murderer was mentioned right before a trans person who was murdered was mentioned. And the two of them, like, right after each other, just felt very weird and uncomfortable. So yeah, it was a different reading experience than I expected. It also felt quite, like, informational, but kind of like in a way that, like, it can be a bit overwhelming with how much information you're getting. But yeah, I did still like it. I can't remember how many stars I gave it, but I did write quite a detailed, like, Goodreads review about it, so you can, like, check that out, I guess, to know, like, more of my in-depth thoughts and how many stars I ended up giving it. So yeah, let's get into the next book. So next is another book that I got an ARC from NetGalley, and that is BFF. Now the actual title is much longer, but I cannot pronounce one of the words in it, so I'm just gonna call it BFF. I did not like this book at all. I gave it 1 star. If I could give it 0 stars, I would, but you cannot. So yeah, I gave it 1 star. I didn't like it at all. The main issue that I had with it was the fact that the R slur was used like 5 times or more. And to be able to write a book that is less than 200 pages long and still use like the R slur like 5 times is incredibly impressive, honestly, and not in a good way. But another thing that really bothered me about the book was the fact that the author was clearly trying not to use swear words. Which, if you're not comfortable with using like swear words in your book, that's completely fine, especially considering that this book is clearly like targeted towards like a younger audience. Like, that's completely fine if you don't want to use swear words in your book, but then maybe also don't use slurs in your book. Like, you can't go, oh, I don't like using like swear words that people hear like on a daily basis. Oh, but then like a slur that is literally used against people like me, people who like read and review your book, like, that's completely fine, I guess. Nothing wrong with that. Like, I find it so weird. Like, if they made like a storyline in the book where they point out the fact that this word is wrong after like using it once, and maybe not even like writing it fully, but implying that the person said it fully, and then, you know, lecturing that person in the book and being like, hey, you cannot say that. Like, that would have been fine. I still wouldn't have liked the book that much because it just wasn't really for me. But if it was written like that, I would have liked it much more. But instead they just kept using the full word like over and over and over again. And I was just sitting there like reading it like, are they serious? Like, you're not going to use swear words, and you can see that the author is not trying to use swear words, but then you're going to use like a full slur, and you're going to use it against disabled people as well. Like, what? Why? Like, it was honestly unbelievable. Like, I read this book until the very end because I just wanted to see how many times the author was going to use the R word. And like I said, it was probably like 5-6 times, which is, again, way too many for a book that is less than 200 pages long. Like, that's way too many. Like, using it once is already too many. Imagine using it 5 times. Like, it was just unbelievable. But yeah, I'm not going to rant about it more because, like I said, I need to film this very fast. So yeah, you can read my Goodreads review on it if you want to. I go much more in depth about it, and yeah, I recommend checking that review out. I also recommend not reading this book if you want to read like a book with an autistic character, because this book does have an autistic character, but spoiler alert, that's the character that the R word is being used to like 5 times, so don't read it. If you want to read a book with an autistic character in it, don't read it. I have much better recommendations for you. I literally have a video full of books with autistic characters that I really like. Watch that video instead and read those books instead. Don't read this one. If you want to read a book with an autistic character, just don't. Like, don't. They're treated very badly. Then the next book that I read was The Switch. Now, this is one of the few books that I actually bought and I read on my e-reader. I gave it 2.5 stars. I didn't fully hate it, but I didn't love it either. It was just kind of forgettable in my opinion. Like, I wrote down my thoughts on all of these books and what I wanted to say in this video, and for this book I only wrote down like how many stars I gave it and the fact that I forgot like the entire book basically. So yeah, it was kind of forgettable. It was still quite cute in some occasions, I think, and I thought it was really interesting to have like a main character who's like older, who's like a grandmother. Like, I thought that was interesting, but again, the whole book was just a bit forgetful to me. So yeah, let's just move on to the next book. Then next I read the book of Nonbinary Joy. Now, I was actually really excited to get this book. This is another book that I got an ARC from NetGalley. So I was really excited when I was approved for this, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, especially because of the way that it was written. It was just a bit uncomfortable to me. Like, the author used a lot of like words to address a person, and a lot of them were like darling and stuff like that, and I don't like that. Maybe it's just because I'm European and I'm not like American. And I know that Americans use words like that a lot. I don't know if the author's actually American, but it just feels like a very American word to me. And again, maybe it's just because I'm European and I just don't understand that language. So yeah, it was just a bit uncomfortable to read that a lot of the time. But the book did have some like very good quotes. I wrote some of them down, because there were some very good quotes in it, but something that I didn't really like about the book was the way that it talked about self-diagnosis, which obviously, as someone who is self-diagnosed myself with a lot of my physical issues, because doctors refuse to take me seriously because I'm so young, like, it just doesn't feel good to have like an author write about how self-diagnosis like isn't a good thing. Like, I don't remember the exact wording that they used. I think I put it in my Goodreads review, but yeah, I didn't like that. Like, the whole section about self-diagnosis not being good, I didn't like it. Again, as someone who's literally like partially self-diagnosed, like, I don't like it when people talk bad about self-diagnosis because it can really help someone. So yeah, I didn't like that about it. I think I gave the book like 2.5 stars. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. And yeah, let's just get into the last book that I read in February, which is going to be another NetGalley arc, because I read a lot of them in February. So yeah, let's get into that one. So the last book that I read in February, like I already said, was another NetGalley arc, and that was Going Public. Now, these types of books, which if you look at the cover, you can kind of already tell what kind of book it is. I don't usually read these types of books, but it was on NetGalley and I always wanted to try one of them. And I thought, why not try one of them for free? So yeah, I tried reading it and I didn't hate it actually. I just didn't love it either. It made me very anxious to read it, especially because like there was like the main topic of like the mafia, and that stuff makes me really anxious. I didn't like it, but the representation in it was actually like really good in my opinion. Like, it had a demisexual character, which I didn't expect at all, which I hope that's actually like the case, that it has a demisexual character. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it also has like a pansexual character. But yeah, the representation was really good. Again, it made me really anxious to read it. And I don't think these types of books are for me, really. So I think I gave it like 2 stars. Like, I didn't hate it. But yeah, these types of books are just not for me, but by me reading this type of book, I did figure out like my reading taste a bit more. I, don't like feeling too anxious when I read a book. I, don't like books with like a lot of like graphic scenes in it, which I already knew that, but now I know it like for sure. So yeah, I did really like that I had the chance to read this book because again, now I know my reading taste more. But yeah, let's just wrap up this video because like I already said, I need to film this very fast and I need to film another video after this one. So yeah, let's just wrap this video up. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. I'm sorry if it was, again, very fast, but I need to film this very fast. So yeah, I hope you still enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing my opinions about these books, even though a lot of them weren't really good. Like most of my opinions on these books were not that great. But I still hope that you liked listening to it, I guess. But yeah, I am gonna end this video here because I need to film another video after this. So yeah, thank you for watching and bye.